Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. And we have some really good news, and that is that we finally got the Golf GTE back. Yes! Yes! Well, that's the good news, and that's where it ends. Let me explain. So I wanted to bring this video to you around 2 weeks ago, but I felt that I couldn't because I needed to get the car back. And the reason why I needed to get the car back was because the work that you'll see in a moment on the car took 3 days to do. But the car has been away for 20 days. So it was collected on the 5th, returned on the 25th. So what's it been doing for all of this time? Well, I want to introduce you to my painters who did this job on my car. We're going to call them Bill and Ben, the painter men, because we're not going to disclose their names. But Bill and Ben, they are probably, I've used them for a few times. They painted the Fiat 500. Do you remember the £2,500 challenge? So that was the first job that they did for me, and they did a pretty good job. After that, they did the Q5, they did the Ibiza, they did the Audi TT, and now they've done my my Golf GTE. Now, when they did the Q5, I started to see a bit of an issue, and that issue was that they were taking a long time to do the car. For the Fiat 500, they turned that around in about 2 days. For this, the Q5, they had the car for over a month, and they had a number of excuses as to why they had the car. You know, that paint wasn't right and they had to rub down, etc, etc, etc. It wasn't really an issue for me because I had other cars that I was doing at the time on the channel, so it was fine for them to have the car, although a little annoying. But when they took the TT, the Mark III TT, and all they did in that was a really simple job, in a sense that it was just the A-pillars, and there was a scratch in the middle of one of the doors and a scratch on the bumper that was quite deep, needed to be done. They gave me a really good price, and I decided, you know what, just let it go. And that took around 2.5 weeks, which was excessively long, I felt. And I noticed that when the car came back, the fuel was really low. So I decided that on this occasion, with the GTE, I'm going to see if they use the car. So I had 3 methods of detection. The first one was this fantastic app from Volkswagen. It's called the Go Connect app. And what it does is it allows you to know when your car's charged. So you can put your car on charge, and it will tell you when your car's fully charged. But that's not all that it does. You can also turn on your AC. You can set your AC to come on at a certain time in the morning. You can lock the car. You can tell if the car is unlocked. You can sound the horn in the car park if you've lost your car. You can even flash the indicators as well. And if someone is tampering with your car, it will tell you if the car is stolen. So it's a fantastic app. It will also tell you the position of the car at any one point. It will tell you if the car is driving, but it won't track the car. But what it will do is when the car is stationary, it will record its last position. So you can essentially find your car. It's a really good app, and I love it for that. You pay £55 a year. Now, a lot of people complain about this app, but actually it's really good for what it does. So I had that, but I wanted to be absolutely sure that I knew where the car was at any one time, and also to find out where their base is. You see, Bill and Ben, they never would reveal where their workshop was. They told me it was in a place called Branksome, and I know where, not Branksome, Boscombe, sorry. But it would never tell me what the address was. So I know, alarm bells are ringing. You're thinking, Paul, are you crazy? Why are you giving your car to an individual or to individuals and you don't know where they work? Well, after doing 3 or 4 cars, you kind of build a kind of trust with individuals. And you know what? My cars are insured. That's not the point. They kind of, you know, I was reassured that they were doing the work, and I never had any issues with them returning the vehicle. So I had no reason to doubt them on this occasion. So those are the 3 methods that we had. We had the app, we had an Apple tag, and I also had a camera in the car. And the camera was in a blatant position that you would know there's a camera in the car. So don't drive this car anywhere else other than where you're supposed to be taking it, right? I didn't hide it. It was there right in front of them so that they can see it. So it was kind of like a shot across the bow, so to speak, to say, guys, don't take liberties. So off the car went with Ben, who took it down to his first location. So that was a couple of miles away. You kind of think, okay, that's fair enough. Maybe you're taking it to the workshop in the morning. We'll let that one slip. Of course, this is where things got really interesting, because after driving the car 2 miles down in a place called Oakdale, the car then picked up and drove 12 miles to a place called Matcham, which is on the outskirts of Bournemouth. That's 12 miles. How do I know that? Well, this app, Go Connect, also records your journey. So every single journey you make, it records the distance that you've traveled. So I knew that he was driving the car excessively, or they were driving the car excessively. So 12 miles to a caravan park in Matcham. So unless his workshop has miraculously moved to Matcham's, one gets to think that this car was used to commute to one's home. You got it? The next day, he then drives a further 9 miles south down to Bournemouth to a place called Columbia Road, where there's another garage. And this is where things get really interesting, because unbeknown to Ben, who was driving the car, a colleague of mine, a close friend of mine, who will be known as the White Jamaican, he was notified that this car was here, my GTE. And of course I could see it, as you can see on screen now, that the car was at that location. It then went for a further joyride, etc, etc, but it didn't go to any workshop. It went back down to Oakdale. On the 9th of August, the car made a trip, or 2 trips, totaling 88 miles, one of 37 miles, one of 51 miles, to various locations. The next day, the car did another trip of 51 miles. So, unless this garage has extreme locations, these guys are taking the car and they're joyriding. They're using it as their own personal transportation. Now, this is where things start to get really interesting, to the point it actually made me smile because it was so comical. So, on the 10th, I communicated with Ben, and I said to him, how's the car coming on? It's due to me on Thursday, so this is Tuesday the 10th, okay? Now I've sent this message because I could see the car moving. I could see the car blatantly moving, and it's in a school area. To which Ben says, yeah, we're on track for Thursday evening, and Bill asks a massive favour if he can use it for an hour to pick up his kids from Moordown. This is an area in Bournemouth. He said, if you're not comfortable with that, it's okay, just thought we asked. He's using the car. I can see him using the car. My reply, I would rather not, if you don't mind, okay? So that should be a hint. Yeah, no problem, he says, fine. Just need to run it and get it spectroed, and as white are a pain in the butt. He's using the car. The car did a further 13 miles on that day. So, and that was him running his kids back home. And yeah, he's using the car to take his kids to school or pick up his kids from wherever in my car. So my car is now a taxi. So not only is my car being stolen and being used for joyriding, it's now a taxi. Kind of reminds me of a scene of a film, something, you know. And if you're old enough, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Do you remember that scene where they parked the Ferrari in that garage and then the parking attendants then took the car and...
You fellas have nothing to worry about. I'm a professional.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's happening to my car. Of course, that's the beginning of the delay tactic emails, you know, because they haven't had the car long enough now for them to get the most use out of it. So he now needs to throw in a few issues. So he tells me that this is on the Wednesday, because the car was due back the Thursday. This is Thursday the 12th. Sorry to say, we'll need to drop the Golf off on Friday night, as not at the stage we expect it to be by now. It's not ready for paint yet. So I said, well, what stage is that now? Can you send me a picture? remind me in the morning, he states. Now he sent me that text because he's hoping that I'll forget. Of course, I'm not going to forget. And I also know that they've done nothing to the car up to this point. So in the morning, I send him another text. Don't forget the picture. Are you sending me a picture? So I've sent 2 messages now. He then sends me a text back saying, no, can't send the photo at the moment, but once it's back, you'll be happy with it. The only reason it's not where we wanted it to be was more labor intensive around the back arches. Well, he's right, those back arches did need a lot of work, but you haven't started the car yet, so how could you be sending me that picture? Because it doesn't exist. That's the reason why he has not been able to send me the picture up till now. Okay, so it's now Thursday late afternoon. I've sent him a text. Are we on course for tomorrow yet? He tells me that the back arch is a double skin, so we had to pull out the inner skin. Well, duh, we know that. And he says that that it's taken time getting the inner and the inner skin straight before the work. Blah 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 blah. Goes on and on and on. What he's trying to do here is make out that there's more work involved than he originally priced for. So he then has a cheek to say, well, I kept it at the same price, even though it's been twice as much work sorting the inner skin out. We've kept it at the same price. Well, very thankful for that, Ben. But you know what? I know you've been driving the car around, and I also know you haven't started the car yet. How do I know that? Well, I actually drove past the car where it was parked and got out and took a look. I couldn't really film it though. I filmed me driving past it, but you know, because it was outside one of their houses, whether it's Bill or Ben's house, I don't know. But I could let them catch me filming the car because that would give the game away and this video wouldn't exist, and you know, it's quite entertaining to be fair. And I checked the car, no work had been done on the car. I wish I actually took a picture, never mind. But anyway, so this is what he's telling me, that that the car will be done by tomorrow, and of course it wasn't. So now we'll move forward a few days because he's told me that he can't do the car because there's lots of issues and he needs to repaint it, blah blah blah. So we're now on Tuesday the 17th. He's promised to deliver the car Wednesday the 18th, so I'm chasing him up now, and he's telling me that he's going to ring me in the afternoon. And he's also telling me on Wednesday, just finishing masking up for paint now, will be later this evening. Now, anyone who knows anything about painting, if you paint a car, you are not going to release it in the afternoon unless the car was painted in the morning and it's been in the oven cooking for the rest of the day. Okay, so in this stage, he's masking up for paint, so it's 2:45 in the afternoon. And he's masking up, so he's going to paint for about half an hour or so, because he's got to do the seal, he's got to do the rear quarter, and he also promised to blend the whole lot in, yeah, because he said white's a difficult colour. I appreciate that. I know that from my S3, because when my car was at a decent paint shop, they told me exactly the same thing. Even though they were matching the paint, white is quite a tricky colour to match. So what he told me he was going to do was blend the whole lot. So he's going to go over the doors, front and back, so it all looks consistent, okay? So, of course, Thursday comes and goes. He couldn't deliver the car back. Promised it will be with me on Friday. Guess what? Friday comes and goes, still no car. So Friday says, you'll have the car back end of day Tuesday. Decided to go down the side just to save any more hassles and problems. So he's telling me he's gone down the sides of the car, yeah? Have to paint the door shuts, then put doors and wings back on, then prep, mask up, paint, then needs to dry and flat and polish. Sorry, this has been a constant issue, but this way rules out any more. He's not taking the doors off. I know he hasn't taken the doors off, because if he's taking the doors off, the car will be showing me that the doors are open. The car's not showing me that. The car's saying it's locked. Also the fact I drove past his house, you'll see the video now, the car was still there. He hadn't touched it. So he's blatantly lying to me, telling me that he's done all this on the car, and he hasn't even started the car yet. Now, this of course, this is Friday the 19th. So, you know, they've been joyriding in my car up to that point. actually, to give them credit, they stopped driving the car by then. And I figured that the reason why they stopped driving the car was because they just figured out that there's a camera in the car. Okay, so now they're worried, they're concerned. And interestingly, they deleted all the footage of the camera, of the film of them driving the car around. But do you know what, guys, I work in IT. I was able to recover the 147 files that they deleted, and I've been able to look at the video, and I know where they live, I know where they've been, I've seen their kids, I've seen them, because they're in front of the car talking and everything and showing the car off to their friends. I can't show you that, unfortunately, because that will reveal their faces, and this is not that sort of a video. So I don't want to even though I am really mad with them, I'm not going to disrespect them by showing their faces, etc., and cause them problems. Okay, but yeah, great videos, really enjoyed it. I'm going to keep it for my collection, and if you know me personally, ask me and I'll show you it. But yeah, so they've deleted all the videos from the camera, so they've got a few cells in their heads to try and do that. But they forget to reset the camera. You'll see it on screen now, them actually, as he's delivering the car back to me on the 25th, he realizes that the camera is not in focus, or not facing the right way, so he adjusts that. And even if I weren't able to recover the videos, I would have known that he's done that. Yeah. Okay, so it is now Monday the 23rd. I now start sending him a text. What time are you delivering the car, Ben? And for the first time on Tuesday, he sends me a picture of the car. And guess what? The car has now moved to a workshop round the corner from Oakdale. So it's now in a workshop. The alarm has been set off several times because I'm getting notifications showing me that. And I get the first picture, as you can see on screen now, of the car. So this is the first time that they're working on the car in anger. Okay, Monday. So they've had the car now a good 18 days, and they start working on the car on that Monday. So I then do some chasing up on them, and as you can probably see on screen now, I'm chasing back and forth. And I'm saying to him, no, deliver the car to me Tuesday evening, because they're still working on the car, no doubt painting and doing all sorts to give me a perfect finish. And he then calls me and says, look, we're going to be late. I said, don't care, bring the car to me. He says, do you mind paying me in advance?
You gotta be kidding me. What? You gotta be kidding me.
Do I mind paying him in advance? Yeah. Of course I'm going to pay you in advance, Ben. So what I say to them is, nah, I'm not going to pay you in advance. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pay you in the morning once I've inspected the car. So he then says to me, well, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to bring the car to you then, because, you see, Bill got, someone robbed him of £600 the previous week. So unfortunately, he'll have to bring it Wednesday. I said, all right, that's cool. I'll be here, 8:30, bring the car, we'll go over it, and then we'll have a little chat. So as you can imagine, in my mind, I'm gearing myself up for this conversation I'm going to have about excessive use of my car. Because actually what they've done 193 miles in my car in the 20 days that they've had it. So they've had a really good time, probably been on holiday, you know, and all the rest of it. And this is all at my expense. And now I'm going to get my car back, and I'm going to have it out with them about this. So first of all, let me show you the car. Or no, we're not going to show you the car. We'll show you it after the conversation. So here's me meeting with said person, and we're talking about the car. Now the audio on this isn't great because I had to, obviously I couldn't have a mic in his face like a reporter. As much as I would love to have done that, he would have clammed up. So what I did was I had my iPhone and I had it recording and it was in my pocket. So you'll hear a lot of scuffling because I'm trying to stop the phone from dropping in my pocket, so you hear muffled voices. So but we've got the video from my CCTV camera, and you can kind of, you know, tally up and put the words together. Let's watch it. That colour's out, isn't it?
Yeah, still not really happy with the colour, but we just haven't got the time or anything to sort anything else out for it.
That's quite rough, mate.
Alright. I just need to flat and polish it as well. I mean, I can always flat and polish out there. You got the gap, you got the arch, and
I thought you said you were going to blend it all in. This is my first little tickle, so I've caught him out now with the blend in the whole door, because there's a little mark there that I knew was there, and if he covered it, that would have been gone, but clearly it's there, so he hasn't blended it in, and I know that because the color is so out. So we've not got the down to the slap down yet. That's coming, but let's continue to listen.
yeah, we did it, but I don't understand why, because it's all been done.
That's not blended in. I know that because that crack there was on the car. Because if you blended it in, then it would have been all one colour. Yeah. Oh, and there it is. Caught him out. He's got nothing to say, of course. Let's continue. Mate, I'm not happy with that. Not happy at all. Why is it taking so long?
It's just the problems that we've had along the way.
Yeah, but... And here comes the slap down. I know that you guys have been driving the car around as well. Yeah?
We haven't been driving this. We only got to go and get it spec trade.
When was that then? Because this car has got a tracking device on it.
Right.
It's got a VW Connect. So every time the car gets driven, it tells me. And since you took the car on the 5th, the car's done 150 odd miles.
Really?
Really? Really? Is that all you can say, Ben? Really? And I was quite generous there because I said 150 miles. The actual truth is they've driven 193 miles. But of course, he's clearly speechless here because he figured he covered his tracks by deleting the video. Because we got 2 levels of evidence. Let's hear on. Plus a mate of mine who works in the Columbia Road said he saw the car there as well.
Right.
Columbia Road workshop. So essentially, the way I see it, you've only been working on the car this week. And there it is, friends, back in the net. Man is totally speechless. We've caught him out. See, I trusted you guys. I mean, the delays are one thing. I can tolerate the delays, especially when you text me and asked me to borrow the car. And I knew at the time Wayne was with the kids with the car, because the car was telling me.
Right, okay. Don't know.
What are we gonna do? Because that is a rough job. I gotta get that repainted.
Well, I can sort all that out.
You what? You think I'm gonna let you sort my car out, mate, after you've driven it 193 miles? What a cheek! To be honest, I don't want you guys to sort that anymore. This is the last job that you guys have been doing for me. If it wasn't, I mean, I could tolerate the delays and wait. So I know painters like to stack stuff. I've got no issue with that. But it's the fact that you're telling me that, you know what, I'll bring it back to you on Wednesday, and then it's Friday, and all the time I can see the car moving. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't put faith in me, mate. And when I got people telling me, hey, Paul, I've seen your car driving around, and I can see it moving around, I just thought, you know what, I'll have it out with you face to face, because I'm a sort of person.
Yeah,
and I had tons of work for you guys, but I'm not going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Right. I agreed to do this for... I'm not happy with that, because that is miles out. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to work that out. That colour is just not right at all. So I'm going to have to get that whole quarter repainted. So for me, I'll pay you for that. I'm not paying you for that. So work out a price. So he goes off to speak to Bill, and then they come back to me with a price of what they think it's worth, and I pay them less. because I wasn't not gonna pay them for some of the work they did. So the front sill, they've done an okay job of that. It's not the best, but it's okay. And I'm not gonna put them out. I'm not gonna put them out by not paying them for that. But let's just say for the whole job that they quoted, I paid less than a third, and I feel good about that because they were just taking the mick, really. Let me show you what the paint job looks like, and then you can judge for yourself. Okay, so here's a car returned from its ordeal 20 days away. If you can't already tell, that's the bit that's already been painted, and you can see the color contrast just doesn't exist. Now this is supposed to have been spectrograph, where they take it away and then match the paint. That is definitely not been spectrograph. And the front sill, well, that's okay. It's not the best repair, but it is definitely acceptable. And if the rest of the car was in that condition, I'll be happy. And then the back wheel here is just covered where they just haven't cleaned the wheel off. And at first I wondered why they didn't bother doing that, but kind of figured out why that is here. It's because they've scratched the wheel. So down the bottom there, the wheel's been scratched. So these new wheels are brand new and they've never been parked against a curb, and now they're scratched, and that's why they left it dirty, which is just, yeah, bad taste. Well, you'll hear the recording of me getting this car back, and I did not pay them. I gave them something towards it, but certainly not the full amount. In fact, I gave them about a third because that's what I felt the job was worth. In here you can see again where they've sanded the car, they've just not bothered cleaning up. It's just unprofessional. Now normally this is how the car normally comes back anyway. Not this bad, this has been the worst of all the cars that I've had. And the reason why I'm normally okay with it is because it's I'm not paying the good money. But this was, I think, taking the biscuit here, and it's because they were working on it last night. They've, like I said, had the car for 20 days, but only actually been working on it for the last 2 days to get it to where it is. So we need to sort all this out. The repair itself is okay. Yeah, you can see it's not quite straight. It's still got a little bit of a divot here, and this line isn't clean, but it's presentable, and you would never know it was there if you hadn't seen it, which I have. And this needs a bit of a cut because it's quite rough still. In fact, you see it's still got cutting compound on it. So yeah, rather disappointing, and we won't be using them again, but I'm glad that I've got the car back, so we can now continue to sort things out, and we can get over this ordeal. Now tell me, what do you think of that paint job? Well, let me tell you what a friend of mine who is actually going to sort it out for me. I've got a great friend, and unfortunately the timing was just wrong because he's just come back from about 3 years away working in Dubai, and he's been painting planes. That's how good this guy is. He's been painting planes, Lamborghinis and Ferraris. His name's Gary. I've known him for a good 20 odd years, in fact longer than that, and we used to do every single one of my paint jobs, and he will be doing all of my paint jobs going forward because he's just absolutely brilliant. And he saw it, and he said to me, his words not mine, that Stevie Wonder could have done a better job than that, Paul. Bring it on Monday, I'll sort it out for you in a day. If only Gary was here earlier. So anyway, I have paid them something, and some of you may think I shouldn't have, but I think it's wrong not to give someone the label that they've put into it, because yeah, he's put in all of 2 hours into that job. And you know, they've straightened the front. I'm gonna have Gary take a look at the front just to make sure, because I just don't trust the work that they do. Well, if Gary thinks it's okay, then you know what, we'll live with it. And I think that you know, we've learned a lot there. And like I said, they have been great up to that point, but the two last jobs that they've done for me, the TT and this car, have been their worst. Often I get stuff back from them and I have to do some work to tidy up, but I've never had to flatten off the paint peel or pull up with a massive difference in color. And like I said, they've done quite a few. The Q5 he did was absolutely top. Brilliant job. I got top dollar for that car because of the paint job that they did, because they did such a great job. But of course they were driving the car around. That's why they painted the other side for me free of charge. Yeah, you learn. But in fact, one of you said it in the comments, but that you know, you pay peanuts, you get monkeys, and that's surely what we've got there. So we won't be using them anymore. But I hope you found this entertaining, because it certainly has entertainment. You see, I'm smiling about it because it was quite funny at the time. I think after about 17 days, it started to get a little bit long in the tooth. But the whole process of watching the car move around, I mean, they've done more miles than I've done in a car, which is great, you know. Actually, I should have asked them for a review, shouldn't I? What they thought of it. Anyway, thanks for viewing these, guys. Don't forget to subscribe down here if you are just a non-frequent viewer. Become part of the clan and enjoy videos like this, and click on that bell notification so you're notified every time we release a new video. Now that we've got the car back, we can now concentrate on the mods. So the first thing on the cards, we've got a twin exhaust and a diffuser that's going to go on the back. Then we've got the cars going to get booked in to get that remapping done rather than a custom box. And I'm still talking to a couple of people about the remapping, because it was originally supposed to be going to Holland, but because Bill and Ben took so long to get the car done, I had to cancel that trip. So looking at fitting a Raceline option, which is slightly less power, but the guys at Raceline seem to think that actually it's a much better experience in terms of the way that the power is delivered. So I am definitely looking at doing that as an option. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments what you thought about the whole fiasco. I'll be really interested to hear what you think. In the meantime, we will see you on the next one.